with respect to MidnightBSD. Initially, we adjusted our license to prohibit several different jurisdictions from using MidnightBSD, California, Illinois, Colorado, etc. Our current plan is to implement age verification in MidnightBSD just based on the California style laws. So the attesting of age only, not the ID check verification that some jurisdictions have been planning to implement. New York has had a law that they're working on, so does Germany. Brazil's law has already gone into effect. So we're still not compliant with Brazilian law, but we are planning to do the California version. At this time, we already have Age D created. So that's a daemon to kind of manage the age information for users. And then there's a age CTL or age control utility to set the age. We've used the add user script now has age verification, like a field for age in it. And we also started to work on the package manager changes. So we have some new functions in there to kind of check the age against the system. And then there's a annotation field that we're going to add to ports called age that is kind of a minimum age to use that software kind of thing. Is the tentative plan right now. We're still kind of fleshing that out. But that's kind of the initial pass here. So there's two more pieces we'll have to implement before I think we'll be compliant with their law. It's written so poorly, it's very difficult to be sure. But the way that I'm interpreting the law, we'll have to add groups basically to put the users in, and then have ACLs basically created by the package manager when you're doing an install to kind of limit what users can run programs. So there's kind of a piece in there specifically about running the applications and validating when it's running. The only logical way I can see to do that right now is to do group memberships. So we're looking into doing that right now, and I'm not sure how long that's going to take. Now, I'm aware that a lot of users are very concerned about this age verification stuff. Some people are very mad about it. Some people think it's great. I've gotten very mixed feedback about implementing it. I think a lot of open source developers that are working on operating systems right now are very frustrated by that process, and I completely understand that. I get where users are coming from. Um, from my perspective, I'm just working on this in my spare time. It isn't something I'm making money on. It's not something that I can really fight in court as an individual easily. So I'm kind of leaving that up to some of the larger open source projects to do. So from my perspective, this is more of a limiting liability and making sure that at least in part of the US, people can still use MidnightBSD, um, because I suspect that these laws will expand into other states. I've already sent a letter to my local state senator in Michigan to tell him that, please do not implement these laws like this. This is not going to work. I'm trying to get that in people's minds in this state, at least, that there are downsides to these laws and they're not written well, and they're not going to accomplish what they're trying to do. I recommend everybody reach out to your local representatives and try to deter this from happening where you live. And if you're in a jurisdiction that's already done it or is in process of doing it, I strongly recommend that you write your state representatives and try to fight this. Um, I am not very happy about implementing this, but I'm looking at it that if I have to do the work to implement this, um, I might as well try to make it sort of have a parental control feature. And for people that need that because they have kids, they want to protect their kids, they'll be able to use it. And I want to also work on a way to let people disable this feature if you're not in a jurisdiction that requires it, or you don't need it. Um, that's kind of a line I'm towing here, and I realize a lot of people aren't going to be happy about that either. But um, I can see value in making it an optional feature, and I think that's how the law should have been written, is to encourage developers to build something that people can optionally turn on but isn't required. I don't actually think that this California law is going to help much with limiting access to content or what kids see. Honestly, I know what I did as a teenager, and I don't. I was on the internet in the '90s, and I saw a lot of stuff, and I don't think that they're going to be able to block it all. I mean, um, they can make every website in the U.S. have these ridiculous things, and they'll still access sites in other parts of the world. So it's not going to work. Um, but that's where we're at. So I see there's some people chatting. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yes. In fact, I have 5 cats right now. So we currently have an orange Turkish Angora and 4 black and white cats from the same litter that we adopted. Yeah, we've had several cats over the years. Midnight was the first cat I had, so that's where I came up with the name for MidnightBSD. And he lived about 20 years. Um, he had a long run, but he had cancer and passed away. Uh, yeah, so I just wanted to clear up that we are doing the age attesting part at least, just so that I've seen conflicting articles out there about what we're doing, and um, no, I'm not familiar with that. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I've made more progress on this stuff than I thought I would at this point, but it is definitely going to take a while to get all the ports integration piece done. So I'm not sure when that's going to land. So, all right. Any other questions? All right. Well, have a good night, everyone.